like to welcome everybody to this today's session here with Arthur Wong and Sam Lucci from Think More, React Less. They're going to be talking about what we call EQ for business success, understanding your behavior code. The best way in one sentence that I can explain this, it's a bit like getting an owner's manual for your brain. And that may seem like a crazy thing when you first sort of hear that concept, but when you think more about it and when you work with it for a bit, and I've worked with these gentlemen for several months now, you realize that, you know, when we were born, we just didn't get an owner's manual for how we function as humans and how our brains actually work. And it seems like a good and happy accident that Sam stumbled over a number of years ago, a way to actually understand your brain and decode it in such a way that you take back the control and you can think about things and you don't just, you know, just suffering from the reactions that you have to your environment and the reactions that happen in your daily life. And through that, you get more success. And you don't have to believe me in this because the proof is out there, because, you know, as Sam will tell you about in this presentation, he's used a number of his staff members as guinea pigs over the last few years, and the results have been nothing short of astounding in terms of their performance improvement. So with that, I'd like to hand you over to Sam Lucci and to Arthur Wong. Welcome, everybody.
Thanks so much, Mike. Welcome and thank you for attending this. This is the first in a series of mindset training sessions as part of the Scalefest global community. My name, as Mike said, is Arthur Wong. I'm the executive director of the Think More, React Less educational initiative. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. If you're joining us live, please write in the chat simply your name, your email, your company, and what you were hoping to learn tonight. We want this to be an interactive discussion, so if you have any questions whatsoever, just feel free to unmute and ask in real time. You, of course, you can leave a question in the chat and we will certainly address it at the end of the session in the Q&A if we have time. So as Mike said, what is it that we're going to be talking about this evening? So if you're starting or running your own business, your greatest asset and your greatest nemesis is your own mind. So up until now, no one has really understood what makes us do what we do. That is what you'll learn tonight. So without further ado, let me introduce your presenter, Mr. Sam Lucci, a 7-time serial entrepreneur who will show you how to harness what you already have to create the life and business of your choice. Now, my friend Sam, I met him 20 years ago after spending 25 years in the corporate world, flying across the globe to over 60 countries, being responsible for a number of technical, sales, and marketing roles. The work, of course, was lucrative, but unfulfilling. Shortly after leaving the corporate world, I met Sam, and I can honestly say it completely changed my perspective on how to live life rather than continue being a cog in the wheel. Sam's ideas sounded so exciting and so enticing, I dropped my marketing consulting business, and I've been a partner ever since. But enough about me. I'll let Sam tell you the story. So let me stop my share.
Okay, thank you, Arthur. Wow, what a build-up. Okay, I want to add a little bit about, I should tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a very dominant person. I talk direct. I don't sugarcoat anything. I say it exactly as it is. I can't follow a script. I have talking points. So this is not going to be some polished presentation. I'm going to try to teach you what I learned and so that you can use it. I'll also reiterate again what Arthur says. You know, I want to keep it informal. If you have a question, when I start to say something and you have a question, just speak up, interrupt me. That's okay. This is for you, not for me. So I can handle that, and I welcome that. We have an hour and a half scheduled, and I look at it this way: we can use the whole hour and a half, or we'll use whatever we need to get to the end of what I want to bring to you tonight. So again, I don't follow a script, and I'm not really a big rules keeper. I wouldn't have made it in corporate world. I never was in corporate world. I wouldn't have made it. I know I would have bombed out. So I want to open with this. Okay, I know three things. If you're going to listen to this, whether you're on now or you hear it later, I know three things that are true. They're facts. Okay, number one is that you want something that you don't already have, and number two is you don't know how to get it for yourself, and number three, no one else has helped you, or you wouldn't be sitting here right now investing your time, which is precious and valuable. I know all about that. That story was me for most of my life, and the frustration from that story is what caused me to spend my life to discover what I'm going to share with you tonight. So I'm a small business owner. This is my 51st year of owning a business. It's always been the same type of business. They were businesses where you had to make the sale in order to make it work. In other words, I always sold interior remodeling, kitchen and bath specialties. We did custom homes too, but kitchen and bath was our specialty. So if I sold you one of these, I'd never see you again. There was no repeat business. So every month you had a zero. You look at a big zero and you have to make your life. So my life became very quick. It didn't take too long in business to realize revenue equals options. Okay. And you go into business to make money, and you make money by making sales. So my challenge was to sell and create salespeople. I was a mediocre salesperson without training. I probably got up to 40%. I think the industry average is around 40, around 20. I worked hard to get to 40%. I got people now that are getting 70% routinely, unheard of. And that's just because of what I show you. You'll see what I mean by that. So training salespeople was my frustration. That's what dominated my life, most of my life in the small business that I own. So I want to ask you, how many times have you been overpromised and underdelivered? I would be shocked to think that this is the first time you ever went after any kind of self-help or anything. I'm sure that you have tried other things before. So how many times have you been offered help, overpromised and underdelivered? I know that was me. I can't tell you how many times I was overpromised and underdelivered. I can't even begin to tell you how many times that was. I tried every notable program that there was that I could find, all the notable authors from all over the world. I even tried psychotherapy at one point. I tried hypnotism at one point to help people sell. Nothing ever worked. And then when I got frustrated enough, that's when I went off the reservation and found what I found. So I'm sure that you have some of those experiences too, but I want to tell you this, okay? I am not going to overpromise and underdeliver to you. I'm going to make you a promise that if I'm going to teach you new information you've never seen before and a new tool that wasn't invented before. It's so new, I'm working to get a patent on it, and I may or may not get it because the patent offices can't really understand what I'm trying to say. But whether I get the patent or not, it's brand new. You haven't seen it before. And here's my promise, you can take it to the bank. If you take this seriously, okay, and you learn it, you can get anything in the world that you want. But I notice I said if, and that's a big if. Okay? This is not a cavalier thing where you look at it once, a one and done, or you take it casually. You have to take possession of your own mind, and that's what this information is going to do for you if you take it seriously. So what's my promise? If you take it seriously and make it part of your life, you can have anything that you want. Okay. And that is not an overstatement. And that I can make good on that promise, and I really will. So if you do this, if you made this commitment to do this, then what could you expect? What would you expect from it? Well, I'm going to say that anything that you want, you could have. Now, when somebody says that to you, you probably say, yeah, right. I know. I heard that before. It sounds good, but life doesn't work that way. Well, it can. It can work that way. It all depends on you. So what do you want? You want, excuse me, you want money? Money is the easiest thing in the world to come by. It really is. I always made a decent living in my life, but I never made any money, any real money, till I applied what I learned to myself. And then I've taken most of that money and put it in my nonprofit initiative, but that's what I like to do. So that was just fine for me because that's what I wanted. So let me tell you I want to share with you 5 different people that I've trained in the last year and a half. Okay. First one was a woman that was in her 60s. She worked for actually Lowe's Home Improvement. Okay. In a $30,000-$40,000 a year salary range. She's really happy at home, but she didn't have a good relationship with the kids, and she was only making that kind of money. Husband had a good job, so the money wasn't a crucial issue for her. Okay. She took this very seriously. She worked for me for maybe 2 years at the most. She has a wonderful relationship with her daughter. She moved to another state to be with her daughter, who she wasn't even talking to when she started working with this. And she made about $120,000 working with me for the last year. And then she went off in the sunset to be with her daughter and granddaughter, and that's her story. I have another young lady that was a social worker. She took this very seriously. She was struggling. There wasn't much money in the family. She worked hard. When she finally, it took her a couple of months, and she finally woke up and took this seriously. She now had a life change. She's in the middle of a divorce. She's going to move away to another state. As a matter of fact, I think she left the last day or two. Made over $100,000 last year, probably 120. Okay, she was making $30,000 as a social worker. But when she left, she sent me the most beautiful card I've ever gotten in my life, telling me how much it helped her. And then she also bought me a nice, expensive bottle of whiskey, which I'm sure I will enjoy a little at a time too. So that's 2. How about number 3? I got 3 people that I started with about a year ago. Not one of them was making more than $40,000 a year. One of them is a young woman. She's a mother of 3. She's working part-time. She was a waitress. I met her as a waitress, and I finally convinced her, you got to try this. She took the training very seriously. She'll make between $100,000 and $120,000 this year working part-time. The other 2 are men. These people are all under 40. They're probably 35 and under. Okay, the other 2 men, one of them will make I'm sure they'll both make at least 120. One will probably make 150 this year, selling for me. So you can make all the money you want. There's no question. You get all the money you want. But money isn't the only thing in the world that we go after, is it? You know, maybe you have a significant other that drives you crazy. You can use it to get that into balance. Maybe you got a health issue. You have a health issue. You do the same thing. You know, your mind controls your body, and can use your mind to produce good health. You know, maybe you can't get along with your children. You have problems there. You use it for that. You know, relationships. You know, relationships are everything. You own a business. You hire people to work for you. You know, how's that going? How's it working? Okay. You know, do your employees stay? Do they want to stay? Is everything working for you? These are all things that I will cover in the night session and the subsequent sessions going forward. But I got to tell you, the most important thing that you're going to get from this is something called peace of mind. What is peace of mind? Peace of mind is that your mind can't talk to you, can't talk back to you, and it can't drive you crazy. I had a mind that would never let me sleep. I had a mind that drove me crazy. I used to take an acid by the bottle. I used to take sleeping pills to go to sleep in my 30s. Okay, I don't know how I made it this far. If I hadn't learned what I learned, I'm sure I'd have been dead by now with stress. Peace of mind, I have complete peace of mind. I don't get afraid. I don't get angry anymore like I used to. I used to get a lot of that. I don't feel resentment and all these normal emotions that drive you crazy. So peace of mind is worth more than the money, the relationships, and everything else. And you can certainly have that too. So let's talk a little bit more about, you know, how did I find this? You know, how did I find this? Well, I used the same formula to find this, okay, that I'm going to teach you. Through my frustration, and I told you before, I tried so many different programs with no success, overpromised, underdelivered. I happened onto a book called Think and Grow Rich, and Think and Grow Rich was the turning point for me. The book was written in 1937 in the bottom of the White House by a man named Napoleon Hill. It's a long story. I could spend a whole hour and a half giving that story, but we don't need to do that. He wrote what was considered the science of success philosophy. He was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie to do that. Andrew Carnegie was the steel baron. And you know, when steel became plentiful, that changed the whole world. And Andrew Carnegie was a world changer. Well, he told him how he used his mind to create that empire. And he told Napoleon Hill, I want you to put it into a philosophy so the common man would have it. And Napoleon Hill did that, and he spent his whole life working on that. When I was reading the book, and when I was reading the book, he said, whenever you feel the secret, he said, you read it, whenever you feel it, he said, put the book down, raise a glass of wine, your troubles are over. Well, I did get that. I get that epiphany one day, you know, and I put the book down. I didn't have a glass of wine. I didn't raise it, and I wouldn't particularly like wine that much anyway. But boy, I felt, you know, I was about 3 feet off the ground. I figured all I have to do is follow this formula and everything works. I can teach it to salespeople and everything's just perfect. Well, I couldn't make it work. I couldn't train other people to make it work, but I knew it was right. I knew in my heart that what he said was true. I could feel it. So what did I do? Without even realizing it, in a fit of frustration one day, I'm not even bothered with that story, but in a fit of frustration, I said, I want to figure out what makes people do what they do, or I'm going to die looking for the answer. Now, when you make your definite major purpose, leave that part out. You don't need to do that. That die looking for the answer is unnecessary, because I almost did a couple of times trying to figure it out. So I used the same formula, okay, that you're going to use. And essentially, what's the formula? The formula is definite of purpose and burning desire. Now, definite of purpose says you have to be very definite about what you want, not in a general sense. I want to make more money. That doesn't work. You know, I want to be happy. It doesn't work. You have to be very specific. If it's money you want, you'd have to say, I want to double my income within 9 months. That would be specific. And then when it gets to the burning desire, it can't be just a little wish. I would like to, doesn't make it. You know, positive motivation, positive affirmation, pumping yourself up with sunshine, it doesn't work. It's better than being in despair, but it really doesn't work. Okay. So you have to get your clear on your goal, definitely make your purpose, back it up with burning desire. That's what I used, you know, that's what I used to get what I'm going to teach you, and which eventually evolved into the B code and the breakout I want to do. So with that, I think I'm going to share the screen and show you some slides and then talk about them. Okay. It's not the screen I want to share. Okay. When it's closed. Arthur, I thought I had that up on my screen, but I don't think I do. Let me try something else. There's the one I want to share. Okay, it's up. Let me try it again. I'm not real good with this technology stuff, so bear with me. There we go. I got it. Okay, let's go back up to the top. And start right there. Here's what I want to begin with, okay? Our understanding today of human behavior is as primitive as was the practice of medicine before we knew that there were germs, and I want to prove this. I want to prove this to you because it's a strong statement. You might be sitting there thinking, who in the heck are you that you're going to make such a strong statement? You mean all the experts, all the psychologists, all the behavioral scientists, they don't know, their understanding of human behavior is this primitive? Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly yes, unequivocally yes. Now, if they do what they were doing, would the world be in the state it's in? I'll be 76 years old in another month. And I got to tell you, I've seen a lot, and I was studying social sciences. As I used to teach it as a teacher many years ago. Okay, that's what's one of my loves, that and understanding human behavior. Okay, we're no different than we were when we crawled out of a cave emotionally. Our understanding of human behavior is that primitive. Otherwise, why would we be in a situation we're in? I mean, we have climate problem. People say, one group will say there is none, one group will say there is. We argue about that. We had the COVID. You know, some people said it was serious, some people didn't. We argued about vaccines and things like that. So right now we got a war going on in Eastern Europe. I mean, the Soviet Union actually started a war in Eastern Europe, very serious issue. Okay, I could go on and on and on and on and on. Economy, some people say debt is okay, country's debt okay, some people say it isn't. So that's why, because our understanding is the primitive. I like these slides, and they're very graphic. Okay, before we knew that there were germs, this picture is from the Civil War. In our American Civil War, more people died from disease than they died from the ordnance, from the bullets and the shrapnel from the cannons. More people died from disease, okay? Because they didn't know any better. And then we started to turn medicine into a science. Then, of course, we got the miracle drug penicillin. I had so much penicillin when I was a kid, I developed an allergy to it that I still have, but it sure did knock out disease. Now, where have we gone with this science? When we turned medicine into a science, look what we have today. I mean, what we do today, it astounds me. Heart, we can replace organs and transplant. If you need your gallbladder out, to put a little hole in you and go in with a little robot and take it out, you'd be home in 3 days. Before you take 6 weeks to recover. Medical science is incredible what they have been able to do. Why? Because it's a science. Well, what I'm going to tell you is you can understand yourself and others as a science. Now, I make this statement, and I think it's a fair statement. If you want to reach your full potential, you have to become as expert in dealing with people as you're an expert in what you do, starting with you. And that's what you're going to get out of this, okay? So I want to start with this. There are two things that shape your life. One of them is truth and one of them isn't. We'll get the truth first. So what is truth? Exactly what is truth? Truth is fact. Well, what's fact? Fact is something that you can prove. I want to stop. I want to pause a little bit here and we'll talk about it. Truth is fact and fact is truth. If I make a statement that my mother was the best mother that ever lived, could I prove that? Let's stop and think about that. Could I prove that? I don't think I could I? Matter of fact, I know I couldn't. How about if I said my mother was the worst mother that ever lived? Could I prove that? No, couldn't prove that either. But if I said my mother was born as a coal miner's daughter, lived in a little coal mining town, born in Novella, Pennsylvania, met my dad during World War II, got married at 21 years old, and at 22 years old, she had Sharon, her first child. And then a year and a week later, she had me, her second child. And I could go on and on. These things I can prove, they're facts. So the minute you put a value judgment on something that isn't true, and value judgments are what's running your life, running the whole world, and always have. And you can see where we're going. We're running ourselves on the rocks. So again, what is truth? If I can't prove it, it isn't true. If you tell me something, I don't care. If someone tells me something, I listen to it and I say to myself, can you prove that? I may not ask them, can they prove that? But I'm asking myself what they said, can that be proven? If it can't be proven, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. But if it can, then I'm all in. Now, the second thing that shapes your life besides truth is something that we call beliefs. Now, beliefs are opinions. And I also call them lies. I want you to think about this. When I was putting this program together, and I'm going back 10, 12 years ago, and I would start to tell people, beliefs seem to be the problem. You know what everybody told me? Oh, God, you can't go there. People's beliefs are sacred. You can't talk about that kind of stuff. So I just kept working, plowing together until I had enough courage to just tell you what I'm telling you right now. And I had to get rid of a lot of my own beliefs to be able to do that too. Beliefs are opinions, they're lies. Belief, you make it up. My mother's the best mother. Who said so? My neighbor says, no, I had the best mother. Governments shouldn't run deficits. There shouldn't be welfare. There should be welfare. Not everybody should have the right to vote. Everybody should have the right to vote. Everything you look at is going to be muted by people's opinions. And what I'm going to say to you right now is your opinions run your life. They're running the world and they're running your world. You want a different world? There's not a whole lot you can do by yourself to change the whole world or the world and environment around you. But I can tell you this, no matter what the world around you is doing, if you get control of your own, you'll make the most of it in any environment, in any situation. So how do beliefs get there? How do beliefs get there? I'm going to tell you how they get there. All right. You don't sit down and make up a belief. You don't do it. It doesn't happen that way. As you experience your world, your emotional system and your mind, your emotional system gives meaning to your experience, plants them inside you. That's where you get beliefs or opinions. Once it does that and plants them inside you, okay, you're going to obey them. You definitely will obey them. And here's some really tough parts. Okay, most of them opinions, the worst of them, are in you by the time you're 5 to 7 years old. Now the experts know this. They know that you have a program in you that you get by the time you're 5, 6, 7 years old. They don't know what to do with it. They don't have any idea how deep it goes, but they know that is a fact. Your beliefs start to form even when you're in your mother's womb. Okay, your system makes up beliefs, new ones, every day. Science has proven. I think it was February of 2011. They wrote a nice opinion on it. 95% of what you believe, you don't know you believe it. You probably only know about 5% of what you believe. 95% you don't know it's there. Well, the 5% that you do know is bad enough. The 95 you don't know is devastating. I mean, it is absolutely devastating. Those young people that I told you about, I worked with 2 of them this morning that are already extremely successful, and we're going to help them get even more successful. What did I do this morning with them individually as their sales trainer and coach? Okay, I helped each one of them, helped one of them get rid of one belief and another one get rid of 2 beliefs. How did I find those beliefs? I sit and listen to them and I say to them, okay, when you don't sell a job, tell me what happens. So they tell me what happens. I listen and I put it together and understand it. And then I say to myself, okay, they must believe this to be getting that response. And I write it down, then I bring them back for a session. We go over it and we help them get rid of it. Those 2 people, which are already doing well, will do even better. That's how this thing works. So you don't know what that 95% is. We have a way to find it and get rid of it. And here's the last thing I want to say about beliefs right now. I don't know why, but beliefs run your behavior first. Truth can only run your behavior when there aren't any beliefs there. Let me give you a couple of examples, okay? Most people don't rob banks, and most people pay their bills, and they're decent citizens, and they're pretty good. They're not pedophiles, and they don't assault people and so forth. But yet, when you were growing up, I'll tell you right now, you weren't told that you shouldn't do these things. You just sort of seem to know you shouldn't do them. Now, there are people that do those things. Well, why do they do them? You know why they do them? Because of a belief that they should be, that makes them do them. Now, let me be real clear, real quick, okay? I'm not some bleeding heart that says, oh, I'm going to excuse you for what you do. It doesn't work that way. If you own the belief that created a behavior, you own the result. You commit a murder in your state, then murder, you go to life in prison, go to jail, that's where you belong. Because you own the belief, you own the behavior, you own the result. This doesn't take anybody off the hook. What it does is give everybody a chance to see what's driving their behavior and an opportunity to fix it. When we send people to prison, we don't work on changing their beliefs. We put them in there, you know, we play games with them, then we send them back out. Some of them get rehabilitated, most of them don't. They do it again or come back. If you could start to think about what beliefs cost us as a society, not only individually, but as a society, it's staggering. This is just a guess. This is not a fact, so I'm not putting it out as a fact, but what would happen to productivity if we could get employees, okay, to get control and get their beliefs out of it and take them home with it? I don't know how many times it would go up, but I carry it would multiply geometrically if we could get the opinions out of the workplace. All right, here's the problem. Belief and truth get mixed together like a giant stew. you can't tell where one starts and one stops. And your beliefs feel true. They feel just as true as anything that that you could imagine. They feel just as true. Okay. So this is what no one has been able to do. First of all, is understand the impact of what I'm telling you and understand how to separate them and how to change your behavior, you know, to get a different result. Because right now, as you sit there, it all seems the same. I know when I was younger, I told you I was a strong person. I was headstrong, you know. I used to use this phrase over and over and over again. I know it is a fact. If I felt something was true opinion, I know it is a fact. I used to blurt that out all the time. I am so ashamed to even have to tell you that because how ignorant I was to keep saying, I know it is a fact. See, we all want to defend our beliefs and we believe and feel they're true, even though they're not, we make them our truth. You know, I think that, I don't know if I talked, I don't think I told you this story. I was great friends with an ex-priest, an ex-Catholic priest, okay? And I consulted with him for a while and I got his business growing very nicely for a while. Arthur and I did a lot of consulting, then we quit quite a few years ago. And we're only going back into the marketplace to give you this in the nonprofit right now. But anyway, I stopped consulting with him. His wife kind of got in the way. And he has since passed away. He was a Catholic priest. And I tried to tell him, I said, Joe, I said, you know, you got to start looking more into truth instead of opinion, you know, instead of your beliefs. And he looked at me and we were good friends. We were friends till he died. And he said, yeah, Sam, your truth. And I didn't jump back. You know, I wanted to say, Joe, it's not Sam's truth. It's not your truth. It's the truth. There's only one truth. It's universal, just like the law of gravity. The law of H2O is water, okay? It's universal. There's only one truth. And that has to be your rudder and your foundation. If you want to get that, make good on that promise that I gave you. So your life is dictated by these two paradigms, truth and belief. Belief runs your life first. So belief runs your life first. If you don't have belief, this is the beauty. There's nothing to learn. Because if you don't have a belief, you just default right back to the truth. No one told you you shouldn't be a robber, but you don't rob. No one told you that you shouldn't assault people, but you don't do that. Oh, when you were little and you smacked your sibling, they might have told you that wasn't nice, but you know, you just know. See, you just know there's a program in you called truth, and you just know it. It's there. All you got to do is eliminate the belief, and it's there. Nothing to learn. So all that good advice. Now, there's things to learn, knowledge and skills to develop, and knowledge to learn. But all the good knowledge that you learn is diluted by your beliefs because they won't let you use it. Then ask any consultant that's willing to tell you the truth, and they'll say that. I don't understand it. I give people advice and they don't use it. Napoleon Hill. I became a student of his. I never met him, but I became a student of everything he ever did or said. As he approached the end of his life, he said, I can't understand it. I dedicated my life to give people the formula for success, definite purpose, backed up by burning desire, and almost nobody ever did it. He said, there's no way to explain a man's indifference to himself. And what Sam Lucy said, I'm going to find out why man is indifferent to himself. And I did. And that's what I said. I'm going to find it. And I'm going to die looking for it. And I found it. And that's what I'm giving you. And I didn't die looking for it. And then I went through a lot of hardship to find it, which was hardship at the time, which was actually good stuff for me. And that's how I did it. So there's nothing to learn, only garbage to take away. Now, you didn't come with an owner's manual. You know, I've been talking. You didn't come with an owner's manual, okay? You were left to figure life out on your own. If you go on, I think, More React Less website, and I encourage you to do that, because there you can get the whole story and you can study it back and forth, become a student of it. Okay. If you go on the website, I have two videos there, and I say, you didn't come with an owner's manual. You were just left to figure it out. Nobody ever told you what makes you do what you do. Just one day you start doing things, and that's the way it is. Okay. Then your belief system kept developing, and here you are. Now you have to cope with that to try to get success. So I'm going to give you this owner's manual. It's coming up right now. All right. That's the owner's manual for you. It looks very simple. I owe this manual to another deceased friend of mine. His name was Dr. Herbert Brown. He was a professor at Dayton at Wright State University in Dayton. And then he was a professor here in Pittsburgh, Robert Morris College. Well, I was a guest lecturer. I came to be a guest lecturer to his class at Robert Morris. I got there early and I listened to him. He taught marketing and business, and I listened to him. I said, "Wow, I like this guy. I like what he's saying." So I invited him down to our place, which is close, and I showed him what I did. He was the first professional to validate that I was on the right track. He said, "I've seen a lot of stuff, but I've never seen anything like what you're working with." And it was very elementary then. Wasn't anywhere this sophisticated. And he used to always tell me, "You got to be specific." He said, "You're talking in generalities. You're confusing people. You know, specificity." Doc always said, specificity, you got to have it. So he started to make this chart. And he died before he finished, but I finished the chart. So I think I owe the chart to him. And now it's very clear to see, thanks to Herbert Brown. All right, let me show you how the chart works. Okay, it's pretty simple. It is and it isn't. Your mind has two levels. Your mind has two levels. There is a conscious level and an unconscious or a subconscious level. I didn't figure that out, and I didn't figure it out. Okay. Experts know that the mind has two levels. Experts also know that the conscious section of the mind is much smaller and the subconscious section of the mind is much larger. Science actually says about 95-5, 5% conscious, 95 subconscious. So I accept that too. I would accept that. I might even go more subconscious than conscious. But you have two levels. The conscious is small, the subconscious is large. Now, the mind has two functions. The mind has two functions. In your mind, you think, and in your mind, you feel. Two functions, two levels, two functions. I think in my conscious mind, I feel in my subconscious mind. And it is, I'll put it to you this way, you never stop feeling. There's another reason why I say understanding human behavior is primitive, okay? Right here in Pittsburgh, I have two fine universities. One of them is called Pitt and one of them is called Duquesne. If you go to Duquesne and study psychology, they call it phenomenology. They will say that your feelings make you do what you do. But if you cross the street there, go up a little bit and go to Pitt, they'll say, no, that's not true. Your thinking causes your behavior. It's called cognitive. So right there, you got two experts pumping out experts in the field of psychology, and they're fighting about which one it is. Well, I got to tell you, Pitt is correct, or Duquesne is correct, and Pitt is not. Okay, your feelings make you do what you do. Don't ever. I love what people. I've seen all my life when people say, "Well, you know, I don't listen to my feelings, and I don't let my feelings dictate what I do." I just smile. Okay, I just smile because your feelings make you do everything you do. Now, in your feelings side, okay, you notice there's red, and you notice there's blue. The blue side, we put facts and truth. Remember, we started talking about the two things. You had facts and then you had truth, okay? Or facts and truth, I'm sorry, the same thing, right? Facts can be proven, so they're true. They're true. H2O is the compound for water. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. If you're traveling east looking for a sunset, you're never going to see one. It's just the way it is, okay? Facts can be proven, they're truth. On your left side, you have red, or your pink, reddish color pink, and we have opinions or beliefs, okay? Now, those facts or truth are programmed in you because they're universal. They're in everybody. They're just what they are. The left side is yours. You made it up. Every time you made an experience in your world, your ego, okay, gave it an opinion, gave it a meaning, imprinted it inside you without your permission, without your participation, and it makes you dance like a puppet on a string. That literally makes you dance like a puppet on a string. It controls you, it enslaves you, and you will obey it. You will obey it. And nobody understands the power behind that. Oh, well, it will influence you. No, it won't influence you. It'll make you do what you do. It ruins your life, contaminates every piece of your life that it can. And don't forget, most of they got there by the time you're 5, 6, 7 years old. You have no idea what's in there. We're going to talk about that before I end this session today with a couple of things, and then next week we're going to show you how to get rid of it. Show you the tool that I promised you that'll help you get rid of it. I asked myself one time, how many beliefs are buried in a person? I can't prove this to be true, but the number that came into my head was 10,000. So I don't know if you have 10,000 or 20,000. I can tell you I have taken thousands out of myself, thousands, not hundreds, thousands out of myself, and I've helped a lot of clients take a heck of a lot out of them. Okay, and here's another part. Okay, your emotional system makes up beliefs every day, which is why you got to make this a new way of life. You brushed your teeth, you washed your face, you combed your hair, you groomed yourself to go out into the world. Well, if you take this new way of life, you make sure that your emotional system is ready to go too. And that's what I mean by it's not a one and done, it's a new way of life, and you have to make the commitment to get the promise that I made for you. So let's keep going. There's more nuances to this owner's manual. Okay. You'll notice there's dotted lines. You can see a dotted line. And in the dotted, in the red, you see a dotted line. Then you see a little circle, a little semicircle on the edge. The semicircle represents, it's in your consciousness. So how much truth do you know? You know a little bit. There's a lot of truth that you know. Most of the truth in the world, you don't know. You don't need to know. You only get to it when you want to. You probably know 5% of what you believe, and that's what that dotted line on the left is, that little mark up there. Okay, now here is the essence of the B code. Everything I told you is, I don't think even the experts argue much with this. Okay, but here's what they don't know, and here's what's going to change your life forever. And it's right. See this little red right there? See that little thing right there? I'm going to go to the next slide. You see it blinking? That's to draw your attention to it. Because when you feel the influence of one of these opinions, you can't think. Your thinking brain and your feeling brain will not work together when you feel one of these opinions. And you're feeling them almost all of the time. Almost all of the time. Almost all of the time. Now, if you, let me go back one. Okay, shut that off. Now, if you're not feeling one, your thinking brain and your feeling brain work fine together. See, over here, this is called, our nonprofit educational initiative is called Think More, React Less, right? Think More, React Less. Well, if you're living over here most of the time, you're not thinking, you're rationalizing. He deserved to be fired. He deserved to be hollered at. You're on the road, okay? Road rage, okay? Look at that, get all upset, somebody cut you off or whatever, okay? These are all beliefs, opinions you have down there, meanings your subconscious mind gave to experiences. These things are running your life and contaminating you. Contaminated. They bring you everything you don't want and keep you from getting what you do want. So all you got to do is get rid of them, and then you just default to this side. And when you have to think, you can. And by the way, we don't have to think all the time. We only have to think when there's a choice to be made. I'll bet a lot of money. You got up this morning, you probably don't even hardly remember getting ready. Whatever you went, whatever you did, you went to your place of business or whatever, you probably hardly remember that. There's no choice. I mean, you go the same, you take the same route most of the time. You get up, you do the same thing. You have a routine, whatever that routine is, and you go and you do it. There's no thinking, hardly any thinking going on there. But what about when it comes time to make a business decision? What about when there's something very serious that you need to be right on with, okay? And when you're over here, you can't access your mind, because whenever you're feeling one of these, okay, it shuts off your ability to think. So your thinking brain and your feeling brain will not work together. You're going to rationalize, do something that you've been programmed to do, which is non-intelligent, and then you're going to swear that it was the right thing to do. You'll rationalize and defend it with your life. Defend it with your life. I got divorced and remarried. My mother was a staunch Catholic, and let me go back. Okay, my mother was a staunch Catholic, and she would have come to my second marriage. I said, Mother, why, she said, well, I don't believe in divorce. You don't expect me to go, do you? I said, well, no, okay. So she didn't come. All right, so I got married. So what? All right. Now, this is what's beautiful, okay? The next year, almost a year and a week later, my business partner of 51 years now, he got married. He was divorced many, many years ago, and he got remarried. And my mother went to his wedding and had a good time. She went to his wedding and had a good time. See, whenever you have a belief, it's the gospel according to the one that wrote it. So you can make anything okay when you're down here in your opinions. You can make it okay, you make it not okay. It's all junk because it's lies and it isn't true. That's the B code, and that's the owner's manual to your mind. What I want you to do is validate it. Don't take my word for it. You'll be able to validate it, and you'll be able to prove to yourself that it's true. You'll be able to do that. You'll think about it, and just start to separate. What you want to do is start to separate. Ask yourself, can I prove this? Ask yourself, can I prove this? I'm going to give you a couple things that you can take with you tonight. If I never hear from you again, that you can keep forever. I hope you come back every week. But if you don't, I'm going to give you some things to take with you. But you have to validate. See, there's nothing a human being touches that you can be 100% sure of. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I don't care if it's politics. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's your spouse, it's significant other, your best friend. You can't take anything at 100% face value, because see, what you do is you use the tools that you were given, okay, to figure out. And what are you trying to figure out? Can I prove this? If you can't prove it, don't take it. If you can prove it, then it's good. It's good. Then you can use it to make decisions with. That's how I live my life. That's why I have peace of mind. I don't know everything, I write ads. I cut an ad yesterday. I had to cut it for my core business, my business. Okay, I looked at it. I asked, make one slight change. I don't know how to logistically put all that stuff together. I hire experts to do that. I know what I know. I hire experts. You would never trust me to balance your checkbook because I can't even keep my own straight. So I don't try to do that in my business. I hire somebody else can do it. Nobody can do everything, but there are people who believe they do everything. Nobody else can do anything right but them. Well, that's just another feeling. So I want you to validate this, and I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to prove to yourself that yes, thinking and feeling. And when I feel an opinion, I can't think. And how do I know I have an opinion? It's something that I can't prove. So take the time and validate that. All right, we approach our work opportunities from our belief system. We approach our life opportunities from our belief system. We approach our civic opportunities from our belief system, our parenting opportunities from our belief system. That's all we use is our belief system. Everything comes out of there first. If it's not there, then you default back to the truth. All right, I told you I was going to give you two things that you want to take home and keep. The first one is this: whatever you believe you make true in your life, there is no statement that could be more true than this. Whatever you believe you make true in your life, because see, your life, okay, is governed by what you believe, because it acts on your behavior first. So just like the two trainees that I worked with this morning, what did I do? I listened to what they did. I could hear in them what they were saying. When I lose a sale, this is always happening. And I listened and I looked at it and I just worked it backwards. Well, if you're having this behavior, it's not a truthful behavior. There has to be belief driving this behavior. I'll find that belief, I get rid of it, then you'll be able to do that again. The one I remember was, you can't, somebody says something, if somebody says, I want to spend $5,000, well, you can't change their mind. Well, how'd you come up with $5,000 for your project? Would you come up with that? It can't be a truth. You wouldn't, it has to be an opinion. You may keep it, but the salesperson's job is to help you see that maybe that wasn't the right thing for you to make the choice on. So whatever you believe in your life, or whatever you believe, you make true in your life. This is a universal law. Remember it. So if you want to know what you believe, look at your life. What's working, what's not. You know, you got a problem with people, you're creating that problem. You don't have enough money, you're holding yourself back. Okay. Your health is not what you want, same thing. See, your mind creates every aspect of your reality, right down to the last drop, and it comes from belief first. When there's no belief there, it defaults to the truth. What you're going to see is you're going to make progress in life, okay, this way, right? So look at this little chart here. Whatever you believe, you make true in your life. You got facts and you got lies, facts and opinions, lies, right? All you do in life to improve is you find lies, these things right here, and you start to eliminate them. As you start to eliminate them, okay, you can only live your life up to where the beliefs start. That's as far as you can go. If you wonder why your neighbor seems to be more prosperous than you, okay, I can tell you right now, his belief system is letting it come to that level, yours isn't. See, there's nothing else in the world to do to improve with this. Now, you know, when I say that, come on, I got to go get more education. I got to do this. No. All you got to do is work on what I'm telling you right here. As you get rid of more and more belief, your stock goes up, and you do more, and you live more and more in truth. If you were 100% in truth, you wouldn't be on earth. You wouldn't be. If you were 100% in opinions, you'd probably be suicidal. You probably would have checked out. Okay. Human beings live right here in this zone, and how much truth they're living determines how much what their life is about. And that's simple. Now you have the new information, and you don't have the tool yet, but I'll give you the tool to find these little monsters and get rid of them. To find these little beliefs and get rid of them. That's your B code. Breakout is the process that does it. Okay, and I am not going to get into breakout today. I'm going to do that next week. There's too much to do, too much to absorb right now. So how do we use this in the business world and in the real world? So I'm gonna do that part, and then we can get into any questions you might have. All right, what would you do if you weren't afraid? If someone would have asked me before I understood this, why are you afraid? I said, I'm not afraid. No, I'm not afraid. I'm using my opinions would have been driving my behavior, but I would have never even realized that I was afraid. But that all beliefs are afraid. So what would you do if you weren't afraid? I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore. The economic climate that we live in right now would have terrified me if I hadn't learned what I learned and got rid of these opinions. I find them exciting, actually. There's more opportunity in turmoil than there is in prosperity. It's easier to make money and make progress in times like these than in times when everybody's throwing money at you. Okay, so I want to do a couple little, just to tease you a little bit with breakout. Okay, let me do a little bit. I put this up here right now. I'm going to pause things here. I'm going to ask you to take a couple minutes and write down, finish that sentence, money is, with as many statements as you can make. So I don't know how many people are on here now, or whether there's a lot in here or not, but it is recorded, and other people are going to be looking at it. Okay. Write down everything that you can think of that you ever thought, felt, heard, or were told about money is. Money is this, money's this, money's this, money's this. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. Debbie, when did he leave? 10 minutes ago. Okay, I'm gonna start up again. These 5 statements you see here are the most common that I see. And I'd say 90% of the people that I have worked with, and actually these except for the third one, the cause of problems, that list would have been mine. Okay, this is the most common I see. If you have anything that resembles necessary, anything, we've all been taught that money was the root of all evil. If you went anywhere near religion, you probably would have heard that. Money causes problems and money's hard to come by. I said 95% of the people that I work with have opinions which are negative, which are lies, and they literally block money from coming to them. I see it all. And when I train salespeople, more than 100%. Not every business owner, but salespeople, pretty much 100%. See, if you believe that money is the root of all evil, let's take this and take it out a little bit. If you believe that money is the root of all evil, and you don't like evil, you're not an evil person. You don't support evil. Evil's bad to you. I don't support evil. How in the world would you allow yourself to have money? Remember I said whatever you believe you make true? You would only allow yourself to make enough money before you started to become evil, before it would make you evil. And you'll have a governor. That is universal when I train salespeople. It's universal. It was universal for me. Okay, that's how what you believe you make true in your life. If you believe that money is necessary, then how much money do you need for necessities? You'll make that, but you won't make beyond that. You'll have a governor that stops you right there. Money's hard to come by. You make it hard to come by. How would that happen? Well, let me think about it. Right? If you believe money's hard to come by, which I did, all right, then when you see an opportunity for it, your belief wouldn't let you take that opportunity. It would put your brain, to go back to the owner's manual, it would put your thinking brain to sleep. Your feeling brain would not do what it had to do. And sure enough, you'd say, there it is, money's already come by. See, you have to be able to think. You have to be able to think in order to make an intelligent decision. When you rationalize, when it's made by an old opinion that you put inside you, you didn't make a choice. It happened. It acted out. You rationalized it. It's right. That's not thinking. Think more, react less, which is the title. So you don't have possession of your mind when your mind allows your opinions to rationalize instead of you, okay, taking control and making an intelligent decision. That's what this taking possession of your mind really means. Let me go on to another one, okay? I can't. Finish the sentence, I can't, with as many phrases as you could do. I can't finish, I can't. You know? Again, I'll pause for a few minutes to do this. Okay, every opinion that you have that I can't, again, they're all opinions. They're all opinions. And if you have anything written there where I can't, then you can't, because whatever you believe you make true. You know, I can't overcome the economic downturn that I might be experiencing in my business. You know, I can't get people to say yes when they don't have any money or they're afraid. All of those are nothing more than opinions. See, so I said, how do we use this in the business world, in the real world? We use it every way you think of. Now, I want to give you one more. I want to give you one more thing. I promised that I would give you one more tip. The first one is whatever you believe you make true in your life. And the second one is this. How can you determine whether you're feeling truth or you're feeling non-truth? Welcome, Christine. How do you know you are feeling truth or you're not feeling truth? I'm going to give, this is very, very powerful. I mean, extremely powerful. Keep it, okay? Ask yourself a question and you'll get an instant response. You will get an instant response. This is so valuable and you want to hold on to it, right? Let me give you an example. What am I afraid of? I'll ask this question to myself. What am I afraid of? And I hesitate. Then I'm afraid of something. So if I say, what am I afraid of? And my system emotionally, the feeling says, I'm not afraid. Then I'm not afraid. Now, let me get a little bit more, get a little bit more personal, okay? Why do I hate my mother? I don't hate my mother. Why do I hate my mother? Hesitation. I hate my mother. Do you know that most of us love and hate the same person with the same intensity at the same time? Maybe is that why you think sometimes we feel crazy? You don't really hate your mother. If you might believe you do, you get rid of that too. There is no limit to what you could believe. And you can ask yourself a question to determine whether you have a belief or you don't. And it happens in the speed of light in real time. You know, why do I expect to go out of business? Hesitate. I don't expect to go out of business. Why do I expect that it's always going to be hard to make progress in my business? I don't expect that. Hesitation, you do. That is the first step of digging into breakout, going into breakout, because you got thousands of beliefs buried down there. I'll go back to that big code there. You got thousands of beliefs buried over here, and you don't know what they are. But when you ask a question, you expose one of them. Now, there's one more thing I want to go over before I stop today, and that's this. Remember I told you the formula for success: set a definite major purpose, back it up by a burning desire, and your mind will deliver, and it will. That was the secret that Napoleon Hill gave to the world, okay, and why we couldn't do it. I want to tell you, when you set a definite major purpose and you get serious, the first thing that has to happen is any opinion that you have here, it won't let your mind bring that to you, has to come up, so give you an opportunity to deal with it and get rid of it. And if you don't like that, and that's usually what stops people, you know, you set a goal, and the first thing that happens is you seems like you experience adversity. That's your mind giving you an opportunity to clear the path so it can bring you what you want. Napoleon Hill said this: any dominating desire, plan, or purpose that was backed by that state of mind known as faith is taken over by the subconscious mind and carried out to its logical conclusion speedily. But what he didn't know, and what we do know now, is that those opinions won't let that happen. However, it's still a perfect system, because your system, when your mind sets out to bring you a goal, the first thing it has to do is remove the opinions. And when it does, we usually lose heart. You know that saying, WTF, that file saying, something happens and you blow up and what, I'm not going to say it, the WTF, okay? That's a vulgar statement, but we all feel that way from time to time, whether you want to verbalize, right? Think of it this way. I get adversity and I want to feel that. You know what I feel when I get adversity? I say, I say, WTF, why this forever? Why this forever? Yeah, that's what I feel now. That's the problem I have. I can get rid of that, and then I don't have to feel that forever. So I just flip over here and say, why this forever? And then I find the opinion over here, belief, lie, get rid of it. Now I've opened up one more sixth channel to go. When I wanted to bring this to the world and create this nonprofit initiative, I wanted to bring it to the world. I got to tell you, it's a big job. I've put a lot of money into it, and I had my whole heart into it because it's what I always wanted to do. And I couldn't even say that I wanted to bring it to the world. I mean, the beliefs that I had, like, who's going to listen to you? You're a nobody from nowhere, and you're going to challenge all the experts. They're going to eat you up and spit you out like a bug. This is where I started probably a year and a half ago when I really got serious about this. So I had to get rid of all these opinions. Well, you know what? I'm standing here and I'll tell the experts right now, our understanding of human behavior as it's primitive as a practice of medicine, where we knew there were germs, and look around you. You don't know what makes people do what you do. I do. And I know how to help them find it, get rid of it, and get a different outcome. You can't do that. I can. Now, I'm not putting you down because you did. I took many, many years to figure this out. Now I just want to give it to you. I just want to give it to you. Just take it and use it. You don't have to beg me for it. You don't have to pay me $1 billion to get it. Just take it and use it. Okay. So that's the formula I used. So when I set out to find the B code and find this answer, it took over my life. I got divorced twice. I never thought I'd ever get divorced once. I lost all my money. I lost all my acquaintances and friends. My own family wouldn't even talk to me for a while. It all came back and it all came around. Okay, but the first thing I had to clear out was all the opinions that it would allow me to get the B code, and all the opinions that will allow me to stand here today and tell you what I'm trying to tell you. So that is enough for today. That is enough for today. All right. So whatever you believe you make true in your life, look at your life. It'll start to give you your first window into what you do believe, what's working, what isn't working. And then the second thing that I want to give you that you can keep is this little tool. This is just a piece of the tool. The tool's breakout. This is a piece of it. When you ask yourself a question, if you hesitate, you will get the right answer quickly. If you get the truthful answer quickly, and it doesn't come quickly, and you hesitate, then you have a belief. Like why do I believe that we're not going to make any money for the next 12 months? We just got to weather this silly economy out. Okay, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I work every day to make my business a bigger success, and I just keep working at it. But I don't get afraid, and I don't go backwards. I don't go backwards anymore, and I have peace of mind. All right, I'm done. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. I don't think there was any in the chat room, or whether Arthur was there?
No, I don't see any right now.
Okay. Is any?
Well, I think this was, if I can just sort of close it off to say thank you. This was a huge presentation, Sam. I hope you don't mind me saying there's actually much more that you delivered here today than I thought we would be in for. So it's been a real treat. Thank you for going into this depth of how the whole system works and what it's all about. And I think some of the examples that you brought to the table are illustrative. I think most of us can relate to the situations that you're describing. It's something that happens to most people, most entrepreneurs, most business owners, and we get stuck in these kind of things. So it sounds easy and practical. I guess, how do people get started?
Yeah, are you asking me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's how you get started. You validate that that these circles and this stuff is true, and you could take a little bit of time and do that. I mean, okay, you don't take my word for it. See, you have and we get into this as we go a little deeper. The power of the mind is so huge and so complete. You know, we have what we call eight foundational breakouts that we'll go one a week and we'll do these, and we'll get you a little piece at a time to start to realize just who you are and what kind of power you have. That will be our subsequent that would be our subsequent things, you know, lessons. But you have a mind capable of anything, and the only thing that's preventing you from using it is those opinions. And no one has ever figured that out yet, but I have. And no one has ever figured out how to find them and get rid of them, and I have. It's a science. It's a tool. It's a science. It works. I would not bring it to anybody to the outside of my own locale here that I work with until I could prove it. It's a science. And so you have to start by understanding. I think and I feel. Okay, am I feeling positive or negative? If I'm feeling negative, it's a belief. It's a lie. You got to get rid of that so that you can think clearly, because think more, react less is what you get. See? So does that answer your question?
So it's really about keep observing what happens in your mind and sort of questioning or querying your mind, your responses, and then going, what's that about? Taking a step back.
Monitor your feelings. Okay, it's about, when I know what you feel, then I know what you're going to do. That's what I teach my salespeople. When I know what you feel, then I know what you're going to do. You don't know what you feel unless you get tuned into this, but I'll help you figure out what you feel. That's what I teach. We call it consumer-oriented selling. Our sales process is extremely positive. It's respectful, okay, and it's consistent with human behavior. There's no manipulation in it. Okay, so what do you do? Look at your life and see what do you feel right now? Ask yourself, what do I feel? Because when you get the breakout, that's what we do. What do I feel? Are you afraid? Are you scared? Are you anxious? Are you angry? You know, do you feel like you're going to be able to do what you want? Are you afraid? You know, is there some part of your life isn't working? And I bet this is a business seminar, so I kind of focused it that way. You know, you have all the money you want in your life. If you don't, then you have beliefs that won't let you have it. There's no other reason. There's no other reason. You have beliefs that won't let you have it. I see that as the most common thing that among business people and salespeople. I worked for wages most of my life until I realized this. I literally worked for wages most of my life until I realized this, that I started to make real money. I had to give myself permission to make real money by getting rid of the opinions that money would hurt me. You know, money's the root of all evil. I don't want to be evil. I want to be respectful. I want to be honest and truthful. You know, money's hard to come by. It's not hard to come by. It's the easiest thing in the world to make if you don't have beliefs that tell you that it is. So that's just an example. The I can't believe, you know, the I can't what? Well, I can't stop the war in Ukraine. No, I can't stop the war in Ukraine. No, I can't stop what's going on with the climate. The reservoirs are drying up. Okay, I can't do that either. All right. But why do I have to let those worries and concerns keep me from moving my business forward? I don't. See, I don't, and I won't, and I don't anymore. But they are doing that to most people almost all the time. These concerns. You don't realize it. You know, ask yourself a question. Why am I demotivated? Or why am I not motivated? I ask that question of myself daily. If I wake up and I say, I don't know, don't feel 100%, I'll say, you know, why am I not motivated? Now, if I'm motivated, I'm just a little tired, then I'm motivated. I'll get up and go. If I ask myself that question and I hesitate, then I'll do breakout, which is a written exercise, which we'll get to next week. And I'll find out why I'm not motivated or demotivated, get rid of that so I can have a productive day. That's why it's an ongoing thing. It's not something you can do. It's not a one and done. It's a tool, and you use that tool. I want to know where I'm at all the time. See, so I don't make rash decisions. I don't, you know, if I'm not 100% certain that what I'm doing is good for me, profitable, I stop. until I can feel it, till I can think and feel together and know that it's the right thing. Because if I'm over here, if my brain's turned off, I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get hurt almost all the time. You know, I built a lodge that's on the website for people to come and spend a weekend like a retreat. So it's in northern Pennsylvania, which is a lush place, you know. And last week I was watching the streams are already dry. It's just June and the streams are already dry. I was watching a deer trying to get a drink in a creek where it was just little puddles, you know. I mean, okay, there's something about that if it's that dry in June. Something's going on. I can't put water in the creeks. Okay. If that bothered me to the point where I have no control over putting water in the creeks. I have no control over the climate. But am I going to let those things touch me, things that are dear to my, and climate's very dear to my heart. I mean, we only have one earth. You know, it's not liberal or conservative, it's one earth. Let's keep it healthy, okay? I want to see those things clear up. I can't do anything about them, but I don't want to let that keep me from moving my life forward, or keep me awake at night,
Yep.
See, that's how you use this. I don't know if that answers your question, but
Sure, absolutely.
okay.
So anyone else, any questions?
Okay, I think I want to end with this. Think More, React Less is our educational initiative. Okay, I want it's a 501c. I'm back there. Okay, I urge everyone that listens to this to go to Think More, React Less website. Okay, and it's a nonprofit, and you can have everything I'm talking about. I can only give you a part of this. I mean, you know, there's so much more to it. There's so much more to it. So I urge you to go to the site. Okay, sign up. You'll have the full course. You can go back and forth and reference it and reference it and reference it. And then I will give you more depth as I come on these things. Hopefully we're going to do these every Wednesday. So I would like you to go there. I would like you to donate and sign up and do it. You can make a donation of your choice. You can make as little as $10. We had to put a limit on it in order to make it work. Hopefully you think it would be worth more than $10, but make a donation. And then the last thing that I really want you to do is this, okay? Share this with everyone you know. You know, the world it's insane. Bring some sanity to your world, bring some sanity to other people's world. Sooner or later, it will catch on, it will grow, and it's all good. It's all good stuff. Because when human beings let truth govern their behavior, we all win. When human beings let belief govern their behavior, one way or another, we all lose. And you can see where it has taken us. With the social media, the internet and social media, it's never had more fertile ground. Lies have never had more fertile ground, lies, opinions, beliefs, to proliferate and contaminate our world and our behavior and our lives. Never had the opportunity that it does right now. That's pretty much why we're in the state we're in. But the truth will work just as well for it. When people start to understand how they can get to the truth, teach each other how to get to the truth, their personal lives will get better, and so will our global community and global lives get better. So yeah, that's my passion. So please share with everyone you know.
Absolutely.
Okay. Arthur. Fantastic.
Arthur, final words?
Well, I would just like to reiterate I never get tired of listening to Sam talk about this. And it's always enlightening in one way or another, and it's useful and practical for our daily lives. So if it's just business or life, we're all looking to do better. And this is definitely the path to take to do that.
Well, that I think is enough for today.
When you first hear it, let me just finish. When you first hear this, it almost sounds like, well, what are you talking about? You know, you from Mars? It's so new. It's so simple, but so new and so foreign, because you lived with your worship and your beliefs and listening to them and governing your behavior, and it's normal. It's normal. You got to realize it's normal, but it's not what you need. It's what it hurts you. If you want to improve, you got to break that cycle. And you break that cycle with a commitment to take possession of your mind and start doing this. And this, the information shows you the how to how it works, and the tool, the B code tool, to show you how to get rid of those beliefs, which we'll go into in the next session. Okay,
Fantastic.
I'm done.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your energy. Really, really appreciate that on behalf of everybody attending and all of those that are watching this on the replay. Thank you, and we'll see you all again soon.
Very good.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Sure. Bye now.
Bye.